Good evening to one and all present here. It's my honor more than a pleasure to welcome you all to Flipped AI Masterclass. Flipped AI is the fastest growing hiring platform in India, where you can find top software engineering talents and hire them instantly. Some of the top companies in India, US, and UK are using Flipped for their growing their teams.
The theme for discussion today is understanding the true value of human capital. So we have sub-themes under it. That is the way which we are going to forward. Srivi, you can take over and set the ball rolling.
Definitely. So getting queries from, we have around 64 candidates who had actually registered for the program. And we had all asked them like if they have specific queries, and considering the queries, we have come up with 5 important questions that I would like to ask you during the show. And to begin with, let me ask you why it is imperative for you to understand each and every employee of yours and invest in their future, especially considering to human resources. Why do you think it's very imperative for you to understand each and every employee?
See, as an organization, as business leaders, as HR practitioners, we have to understand each and every human asset we have, because human resource is an intangible asset which is not shown in the financial statements of the company. Unlike your land, capital, building, your fixed assets and current assets. So it's better to invest in your people, not only for the skills of today, but also for the skills of tomorrow. See, there are plenty of jobs available in the market, but where are these skills? So there is a big skill gap deficiency in the market. For that, you need to invest in your people. Whatever you sow, you reap it, right? If you invest in your people, they'll be well equipped to handle the skill gaps and deliver the mission, vision, and goals to the relevant stakeholders. See, if you have best-in-class technology, or if you are foraying into a new market, you'll have a first advantage with the customers. But after a certain period of time, if you see, slowly the other players will come and will grab the share. So it can be imitated, it can be copied, it can be replicated by competition, whether it's your products or technology, whether it's your inputs, the raw materials with respect to manufacturing, or the best-in-class processes, or your quality, it can be easily replicated. But human resource is the one thing that 1.5 kilograms of human brain is same for all, but with our insights and our attitudes and beliefs and our values, whatever we bring to the table, it is different. So the leaders need to understand the human capital and try to maximize the value of each person, and thereby enhancing the value of the organization, top line and bottom line. What will happen after? See, earlier there are only 4 engineering streams, right? Those days, maybe when our fathers studied, four major streams, whether civil, mechanical, electrical, or manufacturing. Now, if you see, there are more than at least 30 engineering streams. So this clearly shows how the economy has evolved. Okay, so one has to continuously learn. The organization has to continuously learn, be a learning organization. Now the need of the hour is rapid and continuous learning. Continuous and rapid learning in a dynamic environment. Disruption is happening every second. And therefore, you need to invest in your human resources and make them be prepared for tomorrow's revenue generation and customer satisfaction.
Right.
So these are my thoughts.
Yes, it's well said. Like employees are actually the intangible assets of every company, and it's very important that we give each and every one of them good importance. So moving on to the second question that I have for the day, when and how you will know the true value of your people, or as a human capital, how do you understand that?
Yeah, it's an interesting theme actually. True value of a person. Your value, we should not confuse the value with the organizational values. We are asking about the value of your human resources. See, in casual conversations, we would have heard, "Oh, we miss this person after the demise of a person." In casual conversation, you or me or any of the participants here would have heard, "Oh, we are missing this person only after his demise." Similarly, this is my perspective, my take. Opinions vary. The true value will come to know only during the absence of a person, not during his presence. See, during his presence, you would have maybe. I'm not saying that we are recognizing the value, whatever each person is bringing to the table, and we are rewarding for that. But the true value, the word true is to be underlined. The true value will come to know only during the absence of a particular employee, not during his presence. See, imagine yourself. See, during this pandemic or during any disaster, major disaster, natural disaster or floods, which caused havoc recently, and still it's not at over. Okay, imagine without your HR, whether the organization would have run the business, would have had best-in-class products. See, take the transport industry for that matter. See, there is autonomous driving, everything. But whether without human resources, whether it would have been possible for the hospitals to operate, or for the transportation to operate, or for the public services to operate, or for that matter for any industries to operate without your human resources during this pandemic. Human resources is the big key differentiator among your other assets. So this thing we should keep in mind. That is one point. There you can come to know the true value. That is, you know the true value only during his absence and not during the presence. Is one broad view. Second one is, if you ask me, there is a concept called human resource accounting. What is the uh, amount invested to hire, train, develop, and retain a employee, retain your people, and what are the benefits you are getting from that employee? Basically, the cost was the benefits. There are 5 models, globally accepted models, which we are not going to discuss in detail. Okay, each model has its own pros and cons. There is a concept called human resource accounting, but it's not accepted in your financial statement. So that is one thing. And second one is, see, if you lose talent, okay, if you lose talent to any other organization, not only to your competitor, any other organization, um, his close associate will also go. Obviously, if one person leaves, the other person will also go. Okay, you are using a talent, you are using a valuable employee. So in turn, you lose his close associate also. So there is a compounding impact. There's a cumulative impact. The company would have made see a turnover of say 10,000 crores, in a particular maybe in 1920. In 21-22, we would have made a turnover of 10,500. That is good. Year on year, there is increase in turnover. There is no question about it. Had that critical talent been around, the turnover would have been maybe 11,000 crores. We do not know. We need to measure what is your revenue per employee, what is your profit per employee. So these are some of the key metrics. So when you lose your employee also, again, it's again, I'm coming back to during the absence of the employee. It may be attrition or whatever it is, maybe superannuation, or it may be death, or whatever it is, or if your competition poaching talent. So, so that is it. Then only you'll come to know the true value of your human assets. Only when a person is not there. And one thing, to retain your employees, what you need to do is, everybody knows here, there are 3 major factors. Obviously, there are many factors, but there is something called the 80-20 principle, Pareto principle. So 20% of the issues are causing the 80% of the attrition. Okay. So what are those issues? One is obviously salary. Second one is career progression. And third one is the culture. So as leaders, business leaders should develop a culture where every employee will thrive, is able to bring value to the table. So you should bring in inclusion. Inclusion is very important. You should feel accepted. and you should make every employee understand how it contributes to the business strategy, business development. If an employee feels, even if an ordinary, simple, lower level employee knows how his job is contributing to the business growth, he will feel included, he will feel important. In that way, you need to educate your employees. So that is the that way you can come to know the true value of your employee. What is the present value of your employee? How he is going to contribute to the future of the organization. So that way you need to actually assess it. What is the present value of each employee? So scientifically speaking, it is a time intensive process, but each organization has to do that and understand the true value.
Right, sir. So we got to know that we will be only knowing the true value of an employee when he actually leaves the organization. And we have devices like human resources accounting to check the reliability and accountability of each employee simultaneously. So thank you for your insight on that, sir. And moving to the next question, we have
there's a compounding effect. So you should keep in mind, if a person leaves, he takes away his close associate also. So there is a compounding effect. So there is a value erosion happening there.
Right, sir. So moving on to next very important question that we have for the day is, how do you think how we can how employee management help us create value in an organization, or how important is employee engagement?
When you speak about the value the employee brings to the organization, or the value which the organization adds to the employee, employee engagement now, which has moved to employee experience. Now we are in the era of employee experience. Okay, earlier we were in the era of employee satisfaction, which moved on to employee engagement. Now we have moved to employee experience. So how this employee engagement plays a pivotal role in adding value to the organization is, see, basically every organization has customers. Okay, your employees needs to interact with your customers. So there are three kinds of engagement. The first one is, if you see engaged employee, okay, actively engaged employee. Second one is disengaged employee. Third one is actively disengaged employee. The first category, that is the actively engaged employee, they are your brand ambassadors. They are the people who promote your organization, who promulgate your organization. So they build the brand. They are the goodwill ambassadors. Okay, this actively engaged population, one has to keep an eye and should ensure that this actively engaged does not move to the next two categories. You should try to increase the first category. So second one is disengaged employees. Disengaged are those who contribute minimum to the minimum level. Whatever is the job description, they do it, and that's all. They do whatever is mentioned in the job description. They do not travel the extra mile. Okay, they do not travel the extra mile. Those are disengaged employees. Occasionally they badmouth the employer. Occasionally, not frequently. Whereas the third category, which is a cause for concern and which is very harmful, is actively disengaged. They are physically present but mentally absent. So they badmouth the organization. So they also spread this to the other employees. And they also don't move out of the organization. So one way is try to move them to the level 2 and level 1, or try to weed away those disengaged employees. The causes for disengagement may be many. For that, many organizations, if you say, they do engagement surveys either a year, annually. Most of the organizations do it annually. Some organizations do it once in 6 months or 3 months. But engagement is a everyday process. Okay, there is a everyday process. The consequence may be positive, it may be negative, it may be neutral. If it is whatever is the consequence, this experience this employee takes to the customer. So research says a highly engaged employee brings in more business, thereby contributing to the top line and bottom line. Imagine a negative employee speaking to one of your important customers. So this experience he actually translates into the customer. So it's really dangerous to have actively disengaged employees. The important thing is whatever the feedback you get from these engagement surveys, don't put it in cold storage. Actions have to be taken. Champions of the process has to be created, and it has to be communicated to the employees what actions have been taken, whether the actions taken are sustainable. That is important. So employee engagement is a very important concept. So it's not just taking them to picnic or outstation or something like. It is like a emotional bonding. It's like a loyalty. Even if you don't pay salary on time during trying times, or during turbulence, these employees will contribute. The actively engaged employees.
Right, sir. So I think it's very important that employee engagement, it's very much important, especially at this crucial times where we can help keep employee engaged.
Correct.
And avoiding them walking out of organizations.
Correct.
Right, sir. So the next question that we have for the day is, how powerful is the HR in terms of decision making? Or is it really the top management that drives these decisions in an organization?
Most of the decisions, if you see, the largest asset which people have, which the organization has, is the people, which we have discussed. Among the assets, okay, land, building, capital, technology, but the biggest key differentiator is people, right? So if you're going to take important decisions which are going to impact, which are going to have human implications, so who should be in the decision making committee or in the table? It's obviously HR. HR is not only an employee of the organization, he acts as an advisor and a consultant to the top management, right? So leading organizations, the contemporary organizations, not the conventional ones, leading organizations would like to remain competitive, and therefore have realized this and involve the human resources in all important decisions, because they are the best people who know the business as well as your people. So they involve them in the decision making and try to take be fair to the people, be unbiased, and create a win-win solution. So involve your human resource professionals to take major decisions which impact your human resources. Any decision which has a human implication, whether you transfer a person, whether you promote a person, but some of them don't get promotion, it has an impact. Whether you implement a pay revision, it has an impact. Any decision for that matter, whether you outsource a particular activity, it has an impact. So involve the human resources. Whether you take any disciplinary action, again, involve the human resources. And basically the weightage that has to be given to the insights of the human resource professional should be higher than the insights whatever you get from the other important stakeholders. So many companies have realized this and have started moving towards this direction, involving human resources in important decisions.
Right. So it's always better to give importance to the human resource team as in such, in taking major decisions which are mainly focused upon taking the employee related to their engagement and all. So you're saying that this would actually give a different meaning to the way organization function, especially to managing the employees in a better way. Right, sir. And the last question, especially the last question for the day we have is, making HR a key differentiator, and driving customer satisfaction. Can you shed us some light on making the HR a key differentiator and driving in customer satisfaction, which would definitely help uh, enrich the organization or HR in such?
Basically, if you see the role of HR, see now, can you visualize if HR is doing administrative work, kind of processing the payroll, issuing pay slips, managing the compensation benefits and expenses, how it is going to help your people? It is of no use to your people that anybody can do. Okay, now you visualize, suppose if you have the right person for the right job at the right time, right person for the right job at the right time, then you are really able to empower your people. You are able to connect the best brains in the business, and you are able to generate many ideas, and thereby conquering uh, untainted market competition, newer areas. This is called a blue ocean strategy, where you you enter markets, uh, markets, new businesses within the existing business. You go into a different kind of market. So that is blue ocean strategy, or a transformational strategy, a completely a new market, completely a new market. So for that, you need to connect your best brains. It is not administering your best brains. You need to connect your best brains, empower them. Okay, you need to connect your best brains, empower them, engage them. Thereby, you generate idea on idea. You get many idea, and you are able to capture the unmet needs of the customers. There are some needs which are totally unmet, which are not at all explored by any of your competitors. For that, your best brains have to be continuously connected, and you need to create a platform for that. To connect and for the connection, you need to create a platform.
Right. Right, sir. That make a very huge difference on differentiating like customer satisfaction.
If what will happen is, see if suppose if you are putting the wrong person for the right job, what will happen? There is depletion of resources. Wrong person on the right job means that person does not have the required knowledge, skill, competencies, and other abilities to do the job, and therefore you are going to deploy additional resources, and there is a value erosion in that particular person, and another person is also contributing to that job. So instead of one person doing a job, same person is doing two persons are doing the same job. There is duplication of activity, and therefore there is a value erosion. So that is highly dangerous, and it leads to disengagement. Therefore, right person for the right job at the right time. How do you know that? With your skills bank, your skills dictionary, or who's having what skills. Who knows that? Only HR knows that. The concerned line manager or the functional manager knows about his function. I'm not saying that. He knows about his particular logistics or IT function or a finance function. But the overall skill bank, who's responsible? The HR is responsible. Thereby, HR is in a best position to deploy the right person for the right job. And he can multiply value. So thereby, he can meet the untainted competition.
Right, sir. So that make a very good difference in like taking especially human resource decisions, especially employing the right person to the right job, and that could really bring in a change to the entire operational strategies that an organization take up, and it could definitely help the HR analyze the key potential of each employees in that aspect. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, sir. These were the 5 important questions that came to us through Flipped AI Forum, asking you to highlight your enlighten us on the important aspects of human resource. So